Excuse me, I just had to sneeze and I picked up the book, that's all. Um, so what you see here is bitch shit like pepper spray is what they do. They fume, they spray, they drug. That's what women do, right? And they say to a rapist, for example, they say, that's what you get for trying to pick on a woman. A gay guy might make the same argument and say, after they spray someone, say, well, that's what you get for trying to pick on a less than man, gender feminist, right? So by making you a less than man, you can't man up and man up for your family or with your family. So anyone who doesn't see it my way is not a man. Again, I tell you, the problem in society is white denial, specifically liberal white denial, because conservatives have been taking hits and they're desperate and they're scrambling to stop an unstoppable flow of minority control, as the whites were desperate to control Egypt and the Mediterranean, and they failed. For a similar reason, they will fail: their inability to admit that, with all due respect, white people are the most inferior race, and because of their skin color, if they have a little blemish, it shows a lot more than other skinned people. So they were raised caring about appearance more than others, if that makes sense. Now, that is not the determinant. That is a strong component that people don't think about. I do. So when you're a martial artist, you notice the different attacks: biological, chemical, physical, political, cultural, social, economic, financial, religious, infiltration, subversion, provocateurs, provocation. You notice the difference between people who don't understand that the KKK was made to stop black martial artists from teaching the Bible, and you don't know about this book and why they've delayed the books in the mail, why they're threatening to run me off the road all the time, and I'm being yelled at by white racists, and they're driving off the road in subtle ways, and they have communicated to me that the black Hispanics are on their side, and in the absence of a strong support from society, I've been forced to the unavoidable conclusion that I must check in every day, so you all see that I'm very capable every single day of saying what I'm about to say right now. It is against my religion to submit my body, my mind, my soul, or my heart to the white man's judgment, whether it is religious, political, or otherwise. Only where I will agree with him will I follow the law, and I am willing to carry my cross and accept the punishment, as Matthew 10 has taught us quite clearly, especially Matthew 10:22 that I point out all the time, Matthew 10:37 through 39, Matthew 10:16, Matthew 10:21 through 23, through 24, and Matthew 10:28. So I am consistent with a true scientific martial artist and religious perspective of the Bible. For the same reason, they do not have the insight or the mental capacity or the ability to play super speed chess. They must change the rules in chess and make it slow for people who think like a bull, who are slow, who build their temple slowly, and think that God won't notice if they do it incrementally and time it in a way that a fat idiot would, as opposed to a master who can just quickly end it. And that, of course, is the masterful skill of martial arts, the ultimate skill in martial arts that we all wish to attain, that no one has ever proven publicly more than I have in the world, in American history, so I limit it to here to also show a degree of humility, is the ability to kill someone quickly and effectively and move on to the next person until you reach 10, 12, 15 people faster than anyone else. And that is the masterful skill. Remember in the cartoons when Paul Bunyan used to cut the trees down and he was racing the machine? Even with technology, the Paul Bunyan, White Man, Scooby-Doo, Johnny Come Lately, Elroy, Flintstones that I am related to have failed. So again, I tell you, the problem in society is that the white man does not fight for honor or virtue. He betrays even gay people like Socrates, who say that the pursuit of virtue is greater than the pursuit of wealth. And then Plato did eugenics in the name of wealth with Galton and them. And the Greeks are the ones, if you go by Google, who, and they're right, they came up with the derivative. There was derived. Where was it derived? What's the underlying cause? What is the derivative? Of course, you have to think calculus and think sacred math and higher math to truly appreciate it. But on some level, we all do. And depending on how far you've been educated or miseducated or self-educated is how much you get it. And then there's an aspect of God revealing things to you, which is the determinant. So for someone like me to be labeled crazy when I cannot be beaten is like saying, well, the kindergartner is sane because he does what we say. But the Black Einstein top martial artist is batshit crazy. 175 IQ or not, he needs to submit to the judgment of the lesser forms of life, who couldn't, when they put their heads together with technology, drugs and all, drugging him while drugging their own, performance enhancing for their own, performance reducing for him, could not even score a point in the first 3 years when I could have ended the challenge. The only one who could was his brother, who grew up understanding how he thinks from a level of martial arts, showing martial arts, science, religion, heart, mind, body, soul, heart, the line that connects the three, versus the anti-777, you get the 6. You have to add the heart to get the 7, the heart of heart, the Son of Man, God's heart, the bread, the heart, the bread and the blood, the heart, the body and the blood as it relates to the heart, including the mind, the brain, and how it relates to the mind and the soul. So watch it again if you don't understand, but it is beyond preposterous, outlandish, and absurd for these unscrupulous, lowly, rapacious wolves who come from Rome and have a Greco-Roman system to accuse me of having a problem when I have 15 witnesses and tens of thousands of people who go through psychological operations in America every year, and millions of people who report being stalked every year. Who's delusional? The brain surgeon's son with the facts, with over 100 victories, no losses, who has a bunch of racist whites, Asians, and non-blacks pissed off, using mixed blacks in secret societies and desperate blacks to try to make it seem like their pitiful ass is above them. And the more angry they are, the more they have kinky and violent sex with the women they plant in his life for the psychological effect. They'll do things like drive slow in traffic and show landslides and dead animals on the side of the road, saying, hey, connect the dots, 1, 2, 3. The cars slow in traffic, the trees, and the dead animals on the side of the road, which are not necessarily related. But from a certain perspective, one could take that as a threat. And as their law is written, it's how you take it. And these are cops and mental health and psychologists who design the news and use soap operas and social media and different pathetic means to propagate their abominable, detestable, and unforgivable falsehoods. Why these despicable, the lowly, imbeciles at best want you to believe that a guy who can move lightning fast would lose to a snake. That is like saying a snake that has a muzzle around its mouth could take Jesus coming on a cloud. You non-blacks are not kidding anyone, not even your own. Just shut the fuck up. Accept my challenge, or accept me as the top, or accept the ridicule behind your back for the rest of eternity, because you did not. Thank you.
To the Mexican Mafia, the Moisture family, all Hispanic martial artists, whether they are tall and not as coordinated as blacks, strong and not as strong as blacks, too slow or short, it's not about disrespect. It is the culture of martial arts in America for you to put us above you, especially Afro-Hispanics. For white Hispanics to use Afro-Hispanics to try to put me beneath them, to mock me with the women they are sleeping with in secret societies. Look, I hate women. If you're a woman, please don't even address me. It's disrespectful. I'm an Igbo. You're not allowed to interfere with important matters, and these politics are. So any female comments from now on, I'm sorry. Even the other Afro-Hispanic lady, with all due respect, lady, they used you, and you turned against me too. I wish you and your family the best on one hand, but no, you're better off with them. Because you're not giving me my rightful place, and fighting for honor is an agreement of thousands of martial artists, that's how it was. And it is the closest thing to a true agreement in a book that you'll ever see in American history. And it makes it clear that Africans like me were given a special place, especially if they achieved martial art prowess. You Hispanics denied me that. I swear on my ancestors we will never be friends. Go ahead and roll with the whites and the blacks who are going to use this to say, well, he's pitting us together, everyone. Yeah, I'm a Christian. I pit black people who are Christians against everyone else. And those who are humble enough to realize we're above them, they may tag along or some bitch shit like that. Like non-black martial arts. Some bitch shit like that we hand me down. But the bread goes to the children of Israel first, and they are Afro-Asiatic. And just like me, black and Caucasian, they look black, they think black, and they want no white Roman or any other non-black philosophy. No devil philosophy, as Bob Marley has said. Now fuck off.
Listen to me very carefully, especially San Francisco. I know that you people turn a blind eye to the whites setting up my brother to get beat up. The Northerners and other Hispanic gangs are not our friends, I promise to God. Page 162, okay? Carlos Eugenio, remember eugenics, Eugenio Libano, Satan Liberator, Libano Soares. Remember when I told you about names and how Hispanics are part of Latin, Latino, Spanish, right? Latin-based language. In his study on capoeiras in the second half of the 19th century, suggests that even after the reduction of African-born populations, it was standard. It was standard, page 162, third paragraph, about a little more than halfway down. It was standard for each capoeira society to contain at least one African. Now, is this an Afro-Hispanic? No, this is an African black person. Okay? The capoeira society emphasized that blacks are on the top of the spiritual pyramid, especially in martial arts. And this is why we cannot be friends. Because Hispanics, because they're short and they can't fight. There's countless videos on YouTube of Hispanics getting beat down by blacks who are more agile, just like page 182 shows. This is why we can't be friends. Listen very carefully. I'll go over it again if you want me to. Okay, this was indicated by the central role of Africans in the societies during the second half of the 19th century. Even after the close of the international trade in captive Africans, Carlos Eugenio Libano Soares, in his study on capoeiras, in the second half of the 19th century, suggests that even after the reduction of African-born populations, it was standard for each capoeira society to contain at least one African. Look, I'm the top martial artist, okay? It goes on to say, who normally held the office of society chief. Okay, look, you're just a Hispanic who's learning religion and God and voodoo and all this stuff. You're learning it from the Afro-Hispanics, okay? You can't turn around and use them to control the people who taught you. Listen to me. You listen to me, little guy. That's why we'll never be friends. You and your little butt buddies. Anyway, or at least the most experienced Malta member, the carrier of cultural memory. Okay, we are the culture, not you white Hispanics, and not you black Hispanics proving yourself to the white Hispanics. And that had an important role in the symbolic reproduction of the group. You're not supposed to let white Hispanics control reproduction. I am your prince. You have betrayed me. Be gone, all Afro-Hispanics. I am the top martial artist. I am the guy who carried my cross. Now, my older brother, who we all have on record, is a bitch. Or my little brother, who's neutral, even though they're doing this to... How many of you would be neutral if they were doing this to your brother? That's why my family, I don't give a shit about them. And believe me, I don't give a shit about Hispanics, especially the black Hispanics who stabbed us in the back, who left me suffering, why they watched white Hispanics trying to get me to settle for a fat, white Hispanic female. And no, I'm not racist, but this is cultural. And capoeira has defied their own culture. And they know I would kill. So help me God, there isn't a capoeirista in history I wouldn't kill fucking in a short period of time. So help me God. So fuck Brazil. We are not friends with any of you Hispanics. Okay? Like I said, other black people can be their friends. If you respect the top martial artists in American history who had them hiding, drugging, dehydrating, and hiding from $100,000, not just from honor and respect, and they couldn't beat me drugged, and they had the option not to accept the money, so they'll let them say, oh, we didn't want to take advantage of them. Even drugged, they did 15 hits in 1.2 seconds with gloves on for my Deontay Wilder boxing range, you piss-hand pussy. I could have beat you on my worst day on your best. So don't sit there like that's a valid excuse. You're a traitor. Be gone, Hispanics. Be gone. You are snakes. You brood of vipers. You look just like the white Jews, and that's not a coincidence either. You've been letting them control your reproduction for too long, and you've been pretending like, oh, Sado Koda Miyako, beat Macaco or something. When agility lays out, you fat, slow, little fucking pissant looking Hispanic.